Hello, and welcome to episode 38 of On Second Thought with Mike and Matt. He's Matt, I'm Mike, and we got a special show today. Now, Matt, where I come from, the name Larry, you think of Larry Bird, comedy, you might think of Larry David. Podcasting now, Major Nelson Larry, but there's only one really Larry in podcasting, and it's the illustrious Blue Man Rule. Larry, Open Forum Radio, Geeks Gone Raw. Welcome to the show, Larry. How we doing?
Thanks, dog. Appreciate it. I am happy to be here, man. And yeah, I know all those. I actually have a picture of when Microsoft opened the Microsoft store here with me, my youngest son, and Larry Herb. So I have that.
Good.
I met him once. Very nice guy. Maybe more than once I met him. Always very nice. Of course, he's a fellow New Englander. And he's at actually Unity now.
Is he really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
interesting.
We can't have Larry on the show without talking about game engines and things like that. I mean, Larry, where are you at with your game engines and everything like that? You up to date on all the latest?
I'm about as up to date as I could be right now, Mike. You know what I mean? Still enjoying some of these things. Chase and I were talking about the
Snowdrop.
Snowdrop engine, with Division and stuff. So, yeah, man, it's been good. UE5 has been changing the game, but they need to do something about Unreal. Need to do something about these micro stutters. But we'll get into that later. Yeah, but no, man, I'm keeping up as much as I can. Stuff is fun to talk about, man. I like tool sets, and an engine is just a tool set. That's all it is.
Do you spend any time listening or watching Digital Foundry? Those guys get deep in the weeds about the tool set and all the micro stutters that you talk about. They really get under the cover and talk about a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, I actually listen to them quite often, man. I watch them quite a bit. Now, those dudes, man, their depth of knowledge goes way over my head, but thankfully, I could still make a lot of sense of it. And so I don't know I can't count lines. I can't count resolution like they can. But yeah, I do enjoy having a good conversation about it because, those are that enables the experiences that we have, right? The engines. So it's important that we at least kind of know what they do.
Yes, sir. All right. So for those who don't know Larry, Matt and myself knew Larry way back in the early podcasting days for us. Larry headed up Open Forum Radio, Open Forum Network. Was it called Open Forum Network? Or just Open Forum Radio?
It was the Open Forum Radio Network. OFRN. Yeah.
OFRN. And at that time, you were really cooking, Larry. You had your own flagship show. Of course, the 40 Cast was part of that. Everyday Gamers. Gamers Unscripted.
Well, Everyday Gamers was that Chris? Was that Meef and Chris in them?
Yeah,
Meef, Jay, Chris, Holyhead.
Yeah, is that part of Open Forum?
So they were affiliates. So they were like affiliates, friend shows, right? So we would reference them and call them out and like link them as much as we could, but they weren't actually part of our network. No, they had their own thing going, but I mean, we consider them family anyway, right?
Okay.
So,
well, definitely was the 40 Cast. I remember that, right?
For sure. Yeah, 40 Cast,
used to host the shows. He used to mention it, Tap the Craft. So just fill us in. Where is Open Forum Radio Network, and did it just run its course? I don't know the answers to these questions, so I'm asking more for myself, from my own interest. Fuck the listeners.
Yeah, no,
I need to know.
Yeah, no, Hey, that's a great way to start the show. Forget the listener. So great question. So generally what happens, so I don't know if y'all remember, but I think about episode 150 Open Forum Radio. I handed the reins over because I was the lead host on OFR, right? Because we all started back at Talking About Games, or the Talking About Gamers podcast, where we had two shows. And so my team, they didn't choose to continue on with my team. So we left there and we started OFRN, and I was the lead host for about 150 episodes. Then handed it over to this talented man that you guys may remember, called Timo. Timo took the reins.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. Rest in peace, Timo. Man, he was a great dude, man. When I Yeah, he was a great dude. When I was down in Houston, I actually hung with him. I was down there for work, so I actually had a chance to sit down and like meet him in person and talk to him and stuff. Really cool dude, which is why I was happy to get a reins over to him because I had met him. I knew I knew he was. And so, so what happened, I had pulled back then and just wanted to concentrate on certain things that I wanted to do. Right. And so, at the same time, I also had Prove Your Point, which is my debate podcast. Right. And then I wanted to move on to Facetious. So I wanted to get out of the debate sphere. Right. And just get into it where we just kicking it and lounging, kind of like you guys are here. Right. And so I did those for a while. But honestly, man, the thing that happened was that one, I wasn't on the main show anymore. And so that stuff happened. But the main reason, so the network isn't like you can't find it online anymore, really is because what happened summarily is that we had bad code on our page. And I don't know if that got introduced via the site host, which it probably didn't with GoDaddy, or like the domain, like I think we use Media Temple, right? And so it ended up getting bad stuff to where the page kept crashing out. We couldn't get anything. We couldn't publish anything. Couldn't get back to the library to get to all of the archive shows and things like that, man. So unfortunately, technical issues caused that thing to go away, right? And so unfortunately, it forced some people who were relying on our server access, right, to upload their shows to try to find a different solution. So Tap the Craft was always a part of OFR. There were, I think at one point we had 9 to 11 shows on OFR, right? We had Geeks for the Win podcast, who are still podcasting. Section Z with Zabari, who's now officially getting paid to do voiceovers. Like we had a ton of shows, man. And so. But no, really, that's what happened is there was a technical thing. But then honestly, everybody went their own way. Like I wanted to bring everybody in, but I didn't want to change them at all. Right. It's kind of like it's somewhat similar to a super team in basketball. Right. You want to bring people in because they do certain things well, and you don't want to change that. You want to keep them doing those certain things well. So while I never had a really strict hand and a strict hold over OFRN, I just wanted some place to kind of aggregate the talent, right? Collect the talent and the people and kind of boost the whole community. And so we had it going there for a while, man. But I think just eventually time ran its course. And honestly, man, life got busy, man. I had 2 kids and man was working back and forth. And ever since I could remember, I volunteered in church and sang in the choirs and taught classes and different things. And so, things got in the way, so I stopped podcasting there for a while. And honestly, the network was no longer a priority. So,
do you want to sing us a few bars?
I mean, what you want to know? What you want? Oh, I got one for you. Okay. I used to spend my nights out in a bar room. Yeah, but y'all know that, right? Y'all know that's Tennessee whiskey, right?
Matt does.
I'm about to go leave and find out what Barb's doing.
You don't want to sing?
No, after hearing that soulful voice, I gotta say, I got my podcasting chops way back when, right? With 40Cast, Vic,
40Cast, yeah.
Vic Joe. When I first bought my original Xbox, the 360. That's when podcasting kind of was a big thing, iPods, all that shit.
Yep.
And I started searching for podcasts, listening to that, and OFR came up. Learn about the 40Cast. Gamer Husbands Radio was a big one, and a bunch of other ones, and it just kind of went downhill from there. With as far as just listening to podcasts, getting involved with different things, and it was a great couple, quite a few years there of podcasting. And of course, listening to Mike, Gamers in Beta, and everything. That was quite the big thing. It was pretty wild back in the day.
Can't get those days back. No,
unfortunately, no.
A lot
I wouldn't trade them, no, man.
No, man, it was great. It was great.
People have moved on, like you said. Life's getting in the way, or people just, hey, I've done that. I think for Matt and I, it's helped out that we do it bi-weekly, so it doesn't feel as much of a grind. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think to some extent that probably hurts, like listeners, because listeners want to be engaged, and you like weekly, and if you go bi-weekly, they forget, and then the week in between they sort of forget, and then they may come back a few months later. So I think at this stage of the game, though, for us, it's less about listens and all that type of stats, and it's more about just hanging out and bullshitting and enjoying or doing something more simplistic than it used to be back in the day. Right.
For sure.
Yeah, that's my big thing. Yeah, that's my big thing is the community behind it, just talking to people. I made a lot of friends, through the whole process and everything. And that's been big in my life, being able to talk to people and different viewpoints with a lot of different things. So it's been quite the journey for sure.
And Larry, Matt and I have never met in person.
Nope.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah. Early on, a lot of us open forum radio, talking about gamers folks, Scar Casual folks, man, we all met in person. And then we met everyday gamers and stuff. So we met in PAX East 2011, met a lot of the Taggers folks and Scarfinger and them. And then PAX Souths met up with the everyday gamers and stuff down there, man. And so Samuel Kalunga, just some people from the community, Rasta Killer, folks like that, man. Like we just, it was good. Those times were real special because oftentimes you didn't really think before getting into podcasting, I didn't think you could get online and really create lasting, meaningful relationships with people. But hey, man, podcasting proved me 100% wrong. And I am so grateful for that. Because like some of my best friends today, man, are people I met on the internet. Mm-hmm. So it's great, man.
Yeah. You wonder what some of those people are that back in the day, you don't hear from them as much. So you hope everybody's happy and healthy, whatever they're doing.
You mentioned a name earlier, Zabari. My God, is your man Zabari coming at you? It's like holy shit! And I'm glad to hear he's doing like voiceovers because he had the voice.
He's doing it for real. Yeah. He's doing it for real. We all kept telling him that, and he was like, "Oh man, I appreciate it," and he really took it and did it. Like he's published some of the commercials and voiceovers and things that he's done, man. And I just pray he keeps going because man,
that's great for him.
He's great, man. He is great with it. So,
man.
So catch us up to speed, Larry. What are you up to now? You're doing a show with Chase, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And that comes out whenever you guys can get together, or is there a bi-weekly cadence on that? I was looking at the feed earlier. It looks like you've had 2 shows in June, but nothing yet in July. Is that right?
No, we did do 1 or 2 shows in July. The feed just may not have updated yet, Mike. But we did a couple. And so the cadence on that was we took off for a while to handle some life things, right? I had a lot of work stuff going on. Chase has some things going on, and so now it's going to be back to weekly. I think we can pull that off. So that's perfectly fine. Chase does all the stuff, man. We try to get an agenda and stuff, but man, thankfully I don't have to drive and do everything. So I like that a lot better. And so weekly is where we're going to be at. We have August, and so we're going to have folks all August, man. So tune in every week. You're gonna hear at least two new voices every single week.
Matt's chomping at the bit to say something here.
I love being the co-host. I'm like the Ed McMahon to Johnny Carson right here.
I love it, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And who is it for? Is it for what's Guillermo? Is that his name? He's for one of the late night guys. Not Fallon. What's the
Jimmy Kimmel, right?
Jimmy Kimmel, yeah.
Kimmel. Yeah, I knew it was one of the. Yeah, he's on Kimmel. So like, yeah, I like being Guillermo, man. Like that's just it, man. Like you just sit back and you could just play off whatever's thrown out. Love it, man. Love it.
I like playing with Mike.
Pause. That is a strong pause.
But August 4th, I will be on joining you guys on Geeks Gone Raw. Looking forward to that.
Yes, sir.
Matt is non-committal at this point. I think he's been invited, but he's looking at his vast calendars to figure out.
Yeah, he has to check his calendar. Yeah. See which rabbits need to be vacated this week.
Exactly. You're correct, sir.
So for the listeners who maybe haven't heard you guys before, what's the podcast about? What's usually the agenda? Is it all gaming, or is it just all geek stuff, or anything from A to Z? It can be whatever's on top of mind.
Man, it's much like you guys' man. It's what's been going on in the week, what you've been playing, what you've been watching, and anything that's been going on in the week can be anything. Like this past week, I talked about how there's a whole different level of nerddom that I am happy not to be a part of, Mike.
Okay.
And I was in training this week, and I've been in training all week. Tomorrow's the last day, right? And one of the guys was really excited. Like I went out to my car to grab something so I can go back in and eat my lunch, right? And one of the guys was out to his car. He was excited. I mean, he was like, man, just had to come out here and grab my Magic the Gathering cards so we can play at lunch. And I'm like, yeah, see, you on a whole different new level of nerddom that I will never achieve. I want to send to that. So
Magic the Gathering has always had a strong community, but it's definitely, I don't know what has picked up with it. I think someone out there can correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say there's some sort of Final Fantasy crossover with it. There's some Final Fantasy decks going on. And I see a lot of people online building those. I try to have, the older you get, I try to have less stuff, even though my fucking office is cluttered. Less things I have to worry about later on in life moving and get rid of and throwing away. So I don't want to get into the whole card collecting thing, in real life.
Yeah. That's fair.
I'm a big music person, and I always have a strong desire to collect vinyl, because vinyl just sounds better, and they got the nice gate folds and all the different colors.
Oh yeah.
I will never get into vinyl because that shit is heavier. And you have to take care of it. If you put it in the wrong climate, it gets warped, it gets scratched. And I get back to how heavy it is to carry that stuff around. My wife has, one or two big, tubs full of vinyl that we've moved. And we don't have a record player. We moved it from one house to here.
That's like me running around with all these 8 tracks.
Oh,
nothing to play with. Oh man, and I wish you would have told my son that before, Mike, because he loves vinyls, man. He loves them. He has one of the players that plays it and converts it. He loves it, man. He loves it.
My oldest is big into vinyl. He's big into all the different mediums, whether it's vinyl, cassettes, CDs.
Okay,
he does it all. Well, it's great to hear that you're still podcasting, and tell us about what your gaming life is like right now. You're doing much gaming. You're doing a lot of, how sometimes you get on Discord and it tells people things maybe you don't want to have exposed to you, but it can see what Larry's watching today, up in the corner. Yeah. So you're definitely watching a lot of shows. But are you getting gaming in as well? So let the people know, what have you been up to? What's stoking your interest these days?
Yeah, no, that's a fair question. So, I recently just wrapped up Stellar Blade on PC. That was a fun experience, man. It was a fun game. Story was a little weird.
Did you play it on story mode or whatever, easy mode, or did you play it on the intended difficulty?
So I started playing it before the final patch came in, where you could open up and start playing the game from hard. So I played it on normal. Because that was the highest difficulty. Let me play it on. There were a couple of times. There were there was one boss at the end. I had to switch it to story mode. That was it. There was one boss at the end because the difficulty challenge spiked. There was a difficulty spike right there. And I literally had lost to this boss 20 times. And I was like, I'm not going to keep doing this, man. I'm too old for this ish. You know what I mean? So I just went ahead and said, forget it.
Well, you know
what on story mode.
You know what Scar says, so. That's what I was.
Yeah, Nepo, man. So shout out Scar. But yeah, man. So I finished that up. So I got back to after wrapping that up, which again I enjoyed Stellar Blade. I think it's okay. I don't think while the combat's good, I don't think it's as classical or legendary as a Bayonetta or Devil May Cry, but it's good. It's good. Then I went back to, because I'd started and I kind of postponed when Stellar Blade came out. I'd started Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So I'm now going back to that. Now I played Final Fantasy back in the day, but I only finished disc 1. I played Final Fantasy 7 when it first released all those years ago in high school, but I only played disc 1. I was like, yeah, this RPG thing is not for me. So I stopped. I literally, after I said put in disc 2, I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm just going to turn this off and return it back to my boy. So that's all I did. So, but I am enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it, man. It's good. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Square Enix though, man, they just, like I was saying on the show earlier this week, man, like they just, I don't understand what it is, but like these nostalgia, like they live off nostalgia. So they'll put in things that are very nostalgic, like certain side games or side quests and things like that, but they end up padding out and adding a lot of extra time. I'm a grown man, dog. I don't have a lot of extra time, which is why I don't play roguelikes and I don't play Souls games, because I need you to respect my time or I'm out. And so, so for me, man,
more with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I can't stand it, man. But other than that, though, like it looks beautiful. The story's great. The voice acting's on point. The combat's great because you know you can do turn based or you can do action, and I prefer an action interface. So I enjoy it, man. I enjoy it. And then I also have Steel that I need to get back to is Black Myth Wukong, but that's more of a Souls like. So that one for me is like something that I'm on the verge of uninstalling, but I really want to play it, but I'm still on the verge of uninstalling just because. Again, I need you to respect my time, right? I can't invest 45 minutes and not progress anywhere. I just can't do it.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like your the platform of choice right now is PC. Is that right? You're playing all these?
Yeah. That's been my platform of choice maybe for the past 6-7 years. Yeah. Even though I have a PS5, I do have a PC. I do need to upgrade my GPU, but it'll be fine for a while still yet. But because I'm rocking a 3070 Ti, which I still think, I don't know why NVIDIA says Ti, it's a Ti, whatever. But anyway, but yeah, this PC, man, PC, just because it's just so easy and flexible. Sorry, go ahead, man.
Nothing wrong with a 3070 card. It's still
nothing wrong with it. It's just 8 gigs of RAM. That's the only problem. It's only 8 gigs of RAM. So, you know, anytime you want to do frame generation, anytime you want to do any type of DLSS or whatever, like it's going to pull more, especially if you're using high resolution textures, it's going to pull more on the VRAM. And I simply lack a lot of VRAM. Now I have 32 gigs of RAM in my system, but it's not using system RAM to pull those textures down. So
this Larry is an OG podcaster, man. He knows those beautiful ins and outs and segues. He can tell what's percolating in my brain.
Absolutely.
Either that or he looked at the plan, or one or the other. And so Matt and I have been having a lot of conversations. It might be a one-way conversation. His rebuttal to me might be like, Mike, I just turned the fucking computer on and let it do its thing. Thank you. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hey-o.
But so I think where I'm at is I have the 4070 Super, right?
Yeah.
And the monitor I have can only do 120 hertz. I don't have 144. I'm rocking 120 hertz. When I go to GeForce, and have them like sort of optimize what I should, per game. Matt and I are noticing like frame gen and ray tracing. All those things are not enabled across the board for our GeForce. And I haven't taken the time. I should have taken the time to look at Google and see if that's just like the default behavior, or is it not enabled for us because of our systems? What I'm trying to gather is it doing something to help me prevent borking my system and blowing it up, or is it just those things are turned off by default and you need to go in on a per game basis if you want to try to test those things out? What has been your experience with sort of tweaking and adjusting those things? Are you relying on systems to do a lot of that stuff for you, or are you going in and actually tinkering yourself with that?
The answer, Mike, is C, none of the above. This is what I do. The games that I want to play, I'll go to YouTube and I'll see if Digital Foundry or if other people have done an optimization video on it. So whether that be Hardware Unboxed or someone else, if they've done an optimization video on it, I'll go in and I'll mimic their settings first. Because what I find is that me trying to do it takes too much time. B, they've already invested that time. Most importantly, C, the NVIDIA app, when you go in, so there's a slider on there, right? And so that slider kind of between performance and quality, right? It's the two extremes. And where you rest on that slider, and it's already there selected for you. Where you rest on that slider, that NVIDIA app is going to give you settings that are going to be most applicable to where you set yourself on that slider. And I find that all their settings are terrible. All their settings are terrible. I find that here's why they're terrible. Let me explain. This is what we do in podcasting, y'all. We don't just say something, we say why. So it's bad because it assumes you want to play at the game's predetermined presets. So you either want to set it medium or high or very high or extreme. There doesn't allow hardly any variation or customization within and in between those presets. Whereas when you go out there and you see if Digital Foundry or someone else has actually optimized the game, you normally get a mix of settings that are A, the most visually pleasing, but also B, least taxing on the computer, thereby resulting in better performance, right? And so that's what I normally do. And I go in and I don't set my settings in that. Matter of fact, key point, when I play on my games, I actually close down the NVIDIA app and just adjust my settings in game. I don't use the app.
Oh, I feel like I'm getting a deep dive on how to PC game, Matt. And what Larry just described is 100% why Matt just lets the PC do what it needs to do, because Matt ain't got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I buy the game. I download the game. I double click the icon on my desktop, and I play the game.
And Matt has everything on his desktop, so therefore he doesn't need what?
I don't need all these fucking other launchers and other bullshit. I don't need. There's all my games right there in the corner where I line them up. I double click on it.
Unless the cat,
I play the game.
Unless the cats play with his keyboard while he's at work and he comes home and everything's all in different places. Oh, the other day there was a big kerfuffle. I wanted to blame it on the cats just because I like to blame everything on cats, but he said it was a Microsoft update, which I said, which is like a cat anyways. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
exactly. For sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Came in one morning. Came in, all my icons, which are nicely organized over here, or bam, over here. No, everything's been done right. I was like, fucking Microsoft.
I mean, the day's ruined for him at that point, Larry. He's not getting anything done the rest of the day.
No, I was pissed.
Everything is shut down.
Yeah.
I needed a reset button.
Oh God!
I can imagine him coming in, and you know how sometimes the app, like the window, will be stuck down in a corner of the screen. Like I can imagine him coming in and he'll have like 20 of them.
Yes,
down in the corner.
Just right. Yeah.
I mean, I mean, the man used to have a helmet cam, which was great entertainment for us all on his way to work.
That was great.
He needs to have like a Nest cam in his office. To capture these moments, you know.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I could be rich.
Oh man, hilarious. That's good.
Hate it.
So you know, so I'm playing this game like the first Descendant on PC, right? And you know, the default NVIDIA wants me to set it to like 60 frames, but I could put that thing up to 120. So what I'm not clear at, because I am along the lines with Matt, maybe I do a little bit of customization beyond what he does, but barely any.
Mm-hmm.
How will I know if I'm about to blow up my system? I know, like I know like basic stuff, like the system's going to get locked up. Stuff will, you know, like the screen will be like stop motion. But if I decided to bump that game up 120 and then turn on ray tracing, what would like I have on my PC over here, I can look at the temperature. I mean,
Right.
what am I looking for to say, like, Mike, will the PC give me a warning, like, hey, you're getting into a red zone here, you're getting into a bad area?
Well, no, the PC generally won't tell you. Now, if you have monitoring hardware, like I use Open Hardware Monitor, free, you can do it. But it's summarily, since you say you can track, like your thing tracks the temperatures, right? Like your CPU shouldn't be above 95 degrees. Okay. Yeah.
Is that Celsius or Fahrenheit, sir?
Sorry, 95 degrees.
Celsius, right?
Celsius. Yeah. C. 95C shouldn't be above 95C. And then as far as the GPU, man, those tolerances vary depending on the I guess the heat sink that they have on them. Those things can change. The better the heat sink, the more you can run it, because it'll continue to stay cool. But you'll see artifacting in like small little squares on the screen when your GPU is too hot, and so that's a telltale sign for sure. Even if it's running okay, but you got some small squares down here in the corner that are in like a straight line or like that are in a pattern somewhere.
Well, you're dealing with a couple squares. You're dealing with a couple squares here anyway, so
yeah. That's solid. That's solid. I love it. But yeah, man. But like, yeah. So honestly, if you do that, you should be okay. The one thing that I do run automatic, because I use AMD processors, is I let them boost automatically, normally, like naturally, and so I don't touch anything after I set it to boost in the BIOS. I just enable it, and it's done. And then for the GPU stuff, man, I just let them run however they run. But yeah, no, I don't think you're gonna see anything. The game will crash, and the game will continue to crash every time you try to run it if it wants to blow up. But honestly, if your frame rate isn't bothering you at all, keep it moving, keep going.
Yeah, that's that is the thing I want to talk about. Sometimes with PC gaming, you have this desire to always chase this rainbow, waterfall, graphics, mirage, right?
Yeah.
Where on consoles, it's a little bit simpler. The more sophisticated the consoles get, you're getting in a little bit of that, where some of these games have so many different, performance, quality, hybrid, blah, blah, blah. That's getting a little muddled there as well. But on PC, it's always one of those things where you feel like you're always chasing your tail. What I'm looking at is very good, awesome, excellent. I can't believe what I'm seeing, but I could make this change, and I would, totally get fucking mind fucked, and it would be, I finally have reached the peak with the unicorn with all the gold. Look at these graphics settings I have found under the rainbow, but I feel like that is sometimes a fruitless chase, because someone's always going to have something bigger, better, and badder, and the system I have is fine, and I should just be able to. I should be satisfied, playing games at 120 frames per second and on ultra settings. And like, what is rate? Like, if I turn on ray tracing, is my mind going to be? Am I just going to be sitting here like the first time people heard Pink Floyd? Am I just going to be sitting here total like whoa, this is so good, like total mind fuck.
So Pink Floyd is from Oklahoma, and that's okay. Second time I've heard Pink Floyd reference this week. My professors in my class who are from Colorado reference Pink Floyd. But anyway,
I thought Pink Floyd was from England. No.
Well, no, they have Pink Floyd Avenue. Maybe their aggregation is from England, but I know for sure definitely one of the band members from here, because we have a Pink Floyd Drive right down by the Thunder Center. Oh, okay. And so, at any rate, no, Mike, I'm with you. Like, and here's the thing: a lot of people want to chase the 4K, running ray tracing. Ray tracing has summarily not been worth that juice. Has not been worth the squeeze since they came out with it. Right? I'm
gonna borrow that.
It does look beautiful, huh?
Just not with my wife, though. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, right.
You know what? That answer is going to come out negative.
Yeah, and then you're going to blame me, and then I'll never be invited on the show again, and this will be a problem. So, but but no, man. So like the cost, the performance cost of ray tracing, if it's like a medium or high, depending on the game that uses it and stuff, man, it could be about 30 to 35% of your frame rate. So you could lose about 30 to 35% of your frames and your performance simply by clicking on DLSS, man. I mean ray tracing. Sorry, DLSS is supposed to give you more speed by reducing the rendering resolution, but yeah, it's not worth it right now. The thing is, here's what I play at, and I'm perfectly fine here forever. I have a 144 hertz 1440p monitor. I'm fine right here. And that's great. That's great. Ace built a PC. He asked me to help him build a PC that wanted to do 1080 at 144. And I said, nah, Ace, now. If you're going to buy a card that's going to do 1080, you might as well just do 1440p. But he only wants to do 144. He doesn't want to go up to 4K. And that's okay. But a lot of people feel like they have to chase, and it's FOMO, right? Fear of missing out on what somebody else has, or missing that top thing, that top level performance. Man, ray tracing is cool. It's great, man. When you're looking at water puddles and reflections, and you're looking at the way light bounces around the room, and you're looking at global illumination, that's a little bit different. All of that stuff is great, but is it actually going to truly enhance your gaming experience? I really think your frame rate being much higher with your latency lower, I think all of that is going to actually enhance your gaming experience more than a little bit extra shiny on the top.
Yeah, I think 1440p gaming with your 120 FPS, I think is peak gaming right there. I do believe 1440p is great with your 144 hertz monitor. The same thing I have. It's extremely smooth, no hiccups, and it's great. It actually looks wonderful.
Right.
The thing that's bumming me sometimes with PC gaming is you always get one game that gives your system a hard time. Like Matt has a hard time playing Diablo on his PC. I've been having a hard time lately with Division 2 on my PC. Part of the problem, I think, is somehow I got into the Ubisoft beta, and it like throws me out of the game sometimes and wants me to go over to Ubisoft Connect, take a survey or something like that. Sometimes the game loads like all the colors are like washed out, and I have to like reboot my PC, and then the colors will pop in. Sometimes I boot the game up and it's in a borderless window instead of full screen, and I got to go into settings, and I know the game was made in 2019 and it hasn't probably been updated, the engine or whatever, But anyways, we all have this like, one game on PC that sometimes gives our systems issues, and for me right now it's the Division 2, and I'm kind of getting a little frustrated with it. But other than that, things are okay. So to get back to you, Larry, you're doing a lot of gaming. It sounds like you're on the PC. We're going to get into some handheld stuff in a little bit and get your opinion on those things. Beyond gaming, what are you doing? You're watching a lot of shows. You're doing that on a television, on your mobile. Where are you watching these various things?
Yeah, man, I watch stuff on my TV, man. I like to sit down in my little man cave here and, sit back there on that little couch. That's really soft. And sit back there and watch some stuff, man. Yeah, I've been watching AP Bio on Netflix. That show is so stupid, man. I love that show, though. It's so irreverent. Seth Meyers, who used to be on The Daily Show, man, is one of the main producers on that show. And oh my goodness, man, that show is so dumb. That show is so stupid. I think you guys will like it. I think it was a Paramount Plus show to begin on Paramount Plus, and it's like 4 seasons of it on Netflix, and it's quite funny. Quite funny. Highly recommend. Highly recommend.
You've been watching something else for a while. I came what it says there on Discord. King's something. I don't know. Next time.
King's. Oh yeah, the King's Avatar. Yeah. So that was a different anime that I was watching. Believe it or not, it's about it's a anime about an esports gamer. So it's kind of like one of the old animes things where like, hey, I got kicked out of like the King's Party, but he was like the lead player. He was the best player on the team, lead tactician. He led them to 3 consecutive championships, and they kicked him off the team. And so then he goes in and is just playing the game for the love of it, and then starts up another squad. And so it's pretty cool. And the reason I started watching it because they actually have a live action of it on Netflix, and I was like, well, let me check out the regular anime first. But the dude isn't full of himself or anything, man. But he's just like he is just a jokester. He really just likes getting in and poking fun at people, and he likes getting in just kind of getting up under people's skin. But he's really out there just having a good time, man. And people kind of gravitate toward him because he's a likable dude. And so yeah, it's just one of those. But it was something that I wanted to sit down and take a look because it's a Chinese animation, and it's not like most anime, which is from Japan. So yeah, it was Chinese in nature, but man, sometimes their graphical, like their presentation in the anime is really different. But yeah, I ran that. I think it ran its course. So I think I'm done with the first 2 seasons of that, and then I'll probably hit the show up on Netflix because it's like 40 episodes on Netflix. So I'm gonna see how true to it they did it.
So I am once again a Netflix subscriber. I'm not sure, Larry, if you ever listened in the Bad Fodder Figures days. There was a there was a time there where Matt said to me, Mike, either buy the Zero Turn, don't buy the Zero Turn, or just stop talking about it, or I'm not going to podcast with you anymore. I think the line was something like, either shit or get off the pot, Mike. I'm sick and tired.
Shit or get off the pot.
I'm sick and tired of hearing about you and this damn Zero Turn. And I think, Larry, we were about to get there with me talking about getting rid of cable television and the phone. Right? We were gently getting into that Zero Turn territory with me constantly talking about it. So this week, I finally cut the cord. I went to the Xfinity store, which was a very, very painful experience, which is why the beard looks extra white this week. The dregs of society are hanging out in there. One thing I didn't know that you could do at an Xfinity store, and someone has to fill me in. Maybe you get a discount. People were coming in there. They got this big screen, big computer screen in the corner, and people were paying their bill there, and they were uploading cash. I'm not sure if you get some sort of discount if you pay your bill with cash, but there was steady traffic, people coming in to pay their bill in cold hard cash. Anyways, I waited about an hour in line, and I finally got my cable and my phone turned off. So everybody's sitting down here, but if I didn't see you, I'd be telling you to sit down. For a while there, I was paying up to like $338 a month for the.
Oh, good Lord!
Yeah, I said the same thing the other night, Larry. I when you told me, I'm like, what the fuck?
So for $330, so I got phone which was never plugged in. But bad. This was a package that I signed up when I moved in this house in 2018.
Okay. Yeah.
So included with that was Netflix, HBO Max. I had 3 cable boxes, one in the bedroom, one in the family room, and one in our other room.
Right.
And some other premium channels that were all bundled in together. So Xfinity had this deal that you could lock into $85 a month for 5 years, just internet at the speed I'm at, which is the gigabyte.
That's not bad.
Okay. So I go to the store, tell the guy what I want. And because my wife works from home and it would just be a hassle, in order for me to get the $85 a month, I would basically have to cancel my whole account and become a new customer.
Yeah,
they couldn't.
It's not for existing customers.
Right. Exactly. So now I am $100 a month. The guy said to me, goes, this price plan has been only out for 2 weeks. So you might be able to, in a few weeks, go back on the site and see some deals for existing customers. But Matt has to say something. So Matt, go ahead.
I'm existing customers get screwed throughout everything, right? Verizon, I've been with Verizon since can't remember when, and I was like, why what about me? I've been with you for years. And the guy's like, yeah, exactly. You've been here for years. Where you go? Yeah. It's like, well, fuck, man. Give me some
where you
deals.
gotta go.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So
the people in line in front of me were doing what I didn't want to do, and which is why the line was taking so long. They were these elderly people. They wanted to get the $50. I don't know what the speed was for $50. They just wanted internet for $50, but they had to become a new customer. So they picture these elderly couple with this guy working there,
Man.
Getting them signed up with the new account, how to enter a password, what even is a password? That was the type of shit I'm sitting behind, and so, because my wife works from home and hopefully I'll be working from home soon again, I didn't want to become a new customer and have her go down. But I like to say to my wife, I know shit. And sure enough, I get home and it only went down for like 5 minutes. But just working in software long enough, I know something needs to be processed on the back end. Something needs to be like, hey, we've taken something away from this guy, or we're adding something onto this guy. The system needs to re-register, whatever that handshake is behind the scenes. So everything went down for a few minutes. Thankfully, she wasn't on a call, and it came back up. So anyways, long story short, I didn't get the $85 for 5 years. I don't have anything locked up for 5 years at this point. It's just now I'm down to $100 a month just for the internet. It would be $110 or a little bit more if I use their equipment, but I have my own equipment. So I'm getting a discount there. Basically, there's 100 megabytes per gigabyte. So I'm paying $10 per 100 megabytes, basically, because I have a gig download speed and they charge me $100.
Right.
So I was paying $340. Now I'm down to $100, but now you got to add everything back in, Larry. Right? So
yeah,
I don't have Netflix anymore. We got to become a Netflix subscriber, because sure as shit, Netflix and Comcast has their shit together. When they cut the cord, within like 8 hours, it says you're no longer a customer, and they try to process before I was a paying customer for Netflix, it tried to process a credit card that was on file from 8 years ago and said your payment was declined. And so, we'll have to sign up for HBO Max. And then football season comes around here. We're going to have to make a decision between Fubo and YouTube. So I think when we're all said and done, we'll still save about $100 a month. But the shit's going to go up. I don't think we're ever going to see. I'm surprised that Comcast has the deal they have right now. That's actually a pretty good deal if you can get in for $85 a month for a gigabyte speed. I wish I could have got that, but $15 difference isn't too bad.
Do you happen to know if you have data caps? You guys don't have data caps, do you?
This whole Comcast thing is getting rid of data caps. That was the whole big thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They just did a press release about that not too long ago. Somebody sent that to me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's good.
We've never had data caps here in Massachusetts. Our senators have always fought that and have always won or got the companies to back off. So we've never experienced data caps here.
I tell you, it's terrible. It's terrible, man. I hate data caps.
Yeah.
Because I can't enjoy, that's one reason, thankfully I don't find value in Game Pass, right? Because I wouldn't have the capacity to take advantage of it. Because I'm limited at a terabyte of data every month. I wouldn't be able to just download games that are 100 and some odd gigs. You know what I mean? I just bought a game. I just bought Forza Motorsport, which might be the last Forza Motorsport, but I just bought it because it was on sale, on Steam sale. That game is 130 gigs.
I would not want
you know what I mean?
I would not want to be living under that stress. This is talking about stress. I was telling Matt last night, I was reading an article about people living off the grid, and it's like a different type of stress, but stress. Do I have enough water for today? Do I have enough cord of wood? Where I go outside, right. Is there a bear out there when I need to drop a deuce? Is there moose out front? With the baby moose that's going to rip my head off because I looked at its baby. That's just type of stress. I don't know if I could handle on a daily basis. But the the downloading of all that stuff, or the kids, I have a house full of kids and they're streaming stuff and whatever the systems they're on and downloading, that shit adds up quick.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I always thought that internet service should be treated like your electric company, water company. The more you use, the more you pay. The less you use, the less you pay.
Well, I'd be fucked, Matt. I don't want that.
Yeah,
I use it all day long. I'd be bent over. There would be
what about the elderly couple that doesn't use it that much, but they're still paying the same thing as you?
No, they're not. They're down. My parents.
They're getting fucked.
No, they go down to a lower plan. They don't own the gigabyte. They're paying $50 a month. The elderly couple that was in front of me just signed up for $50 a month. I think that's a pretty good deal.
Yep. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean,
so if you use more electricity than anybody else, you're going to pay more, right?
I'm on a plan, whatchamacallit plan, whatever that's called. It evens out the whole 12 months, so I never have to pay over.
Average plan.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing, Matt. So while I like your proposal, the key differentiation between those things is that you're talking about finite resources. There's no finite storage. There's no finite download. Like, you could continue to feed data to my house because the feed is going to continue to pump through that fiber optic cable. It's going to continue to give me data and send and receive data. So it's not finite in any capacity, because it's not like the only thing that might be finite is the bandwidth, but the actual amount of data you can send, not the channel you can send it through, is the only the amount you can send is not limited. Everything else, you're talking about power, water, all of that other stuff. Yes, that's a limited resource, right? But the stuff we're talking about here is unlimited. These people just being greedy as hell. That's the problem.
It is not unlimited. The power at your home, the water you're using, is not unlimited. There is no, trust me, there is no restrictions on that. You're thinking small world country shit. The United States,
right?
You can get whatever you want whenever you need. Right?
Okay. So that's coming from you, right, as an engineer, so you know.
Empty.
But for me, like I said, like with the data, man, like I said, they just I made the argument years ago, literally when I first started podcasting, Mike, within the first year of us, maybe 2007, 2008, first year I started podcasting, I said, why do I need to pay Microsoft? I gave a highway analogy. I'm already paying for the internet, which is my full highway. Why do I have to pay Microsoft to travel in their lane on Xbox Live when I'm already paying for the whole dang highway?
Because they're protecting you from the predators out there, Larry. You know, they got a system there trying to make it safe for you and your kids.
Man, listen. Okay, I had a comment, but I think it's too soon.
All right.
Because I was going to talk about, I was going to talk about them, but about Microsoft. But I'll let it go.
All right. Before we segue into a different discussion today, Matt did post something in the planner that I was hip to just a few, I don't know, not minutes, but maybe an hour or so before the show. So there was, I have never heard this band, but I just know that they are a terrible band. This band Coldplay was playing at Gillette Stadium, the home of the New England Patriots, last night. And
they're a decent band. They're decent.
Oh my God. I think literally you could put your balls on a Coldplay CD and you would fucking go sterile. Anyways, well, you just distracted me there. Yes, they had a kiss cam going during the Coldplay set, right? And this one guy had his arms wrapped around this woman. They weren't actually kissing, but she had her back into his like stomach, that type of, arms around, wrapped into each other. And instantly, when the camera went on them, and all of a sudden they realized they were on camera, they hid their faces quicker than, anything. They were just immediately, the guy ducked down, the woman turned, and the singer of Coldplay said, either they're having an affair or they're very shy people. If they just played it off,
right,
nothing would have been said and probably would have got away with it. But anyways, the internet does what the internet does. And the guy is the CEO for a company called Astronomer. They just recently got $93 million in funding. And I think it's either million or billion. Maybe it's billion. I don't know. Maybe $1 million. And the woman is the chief people officer.
HR.
Oh, it's HR.
And
It's always HR, man. It is always HR. These people here.
He's married with a child. Her marital status at this point is unknown. And people went on the CEO's wife's like Facebook and other social medias and started, saying stuff. So she quickly deleted her social media accounts. I think maybe she even changed her name on some of these. So maybe this guy's going to quickly get a divorce. But when you do stupid shit like this, it's now coming out that he was not a good CEO at some other company and treated people very harshly, yelled at people so they would leave, so he could bring in his people from his prior company to come in. Just not a good dude all around. And then unfortunate bad people get caught doing things like that, right?
How can you be so fucking stupid? I mean,
you think you're above the law,
Well, I mean that's like there was no. Granted, now Barb's right upstairs, okay, but there is no way in hell I would go to any of the local places around me with another woman that I was dating now, okay, because there's people that know me in places, and they would say something or see or know that. Oh, something. It's like, why would you do that out in public and make yourself known that you're doing that?
Well, they thought they were in a stadium that's 70,000 people, and what's the chances that they would be on camera?
Exactly. You're with 70,000 other people cheating on your wife. You're a well-known person.
Thank you. Number one, I wonder who's going to call the HR lady into the office and talk to them about inappropriate relationships? Who's going to do
that? That was, I think that was on like the New York Post or something like that today. Yeah, like who's conducting that meeting?
Yeah, I need to know. Is it the VP now? Like, I need to know who's doing it, man. I
suspect they're both out on the door by tomorrow.
Oof.
Oh, yeah. They're going to be under investigation, so they're going to be on leave until the investigation is complete, and then their office is just going to be dark one day. that's going to be it. So yeah, man. Yeah, I'm used to my wife's crazy. I don't need any more crazy in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. Grass is not always greener on the other side.
No. Yeah, that's 100% true.
Let's talk about some green and shift the conversation back to gaming and Xbox. Larry, where are you at with the handhelds? Do you own a Steam Deck? Do you have a Lenovo Legion Go or an Asus ROG Ally, anything like that?
Nothing like that, man. All I have is I guess like a backbone or like a game server. Like I have a little thing that I stick my phone in, and that's about it, man.
I thought you were going to say
I don't have a
Mr. Professor calculator from the 70s.
A Merlin.
I do not. It's in storage with my abacus, but no. So for me, man, the only thing I'd have, because my lifestyle doesn't allow me to actually sit down and use it in that way. If I'm going to play it around the house, then I literally can use Steam Link and just connect it and keep it moving.
Gotcha. So there has been a leak this week. Nothing, of course, substantiated by Microsoft. They're not ready to talk about the price point, but leaks of the prices in Europe for the ROG Xbox Ally and the ROG Xbox Ally X. So the lower model rumored at €599, and then the top model at €899. Now, of course, none of us are in Europe. So what does that mean for us gamers here in the United States? No one knows the answer. So it's all speculation. Some people say the top one could be over 1,000, 1,050, due to either the conversion from euro to US dollars bumps it up to 1,050. It could be the tariffs that bumps it up to 1,050. My hope thing here, and I want to hear from you two guys, if Microsoft comes out with the ROG Xbox Ally X, anything north of $1,000, it's over. It's done. Because then you got to figure in taxes. No one is buying that fucking thing. You know what I mean? You're going to get some people to buy it at $899, and that's going to get close to $1,000 when you have the taxes. But if you launch that thing $1,050 plus taxes, I don't know what taxes cost for you guys are, but we pay what 6.25.
Yeah, it's about 8.25 here.
That's just a lot of money for a machine. Then you can probably get the same performance out of the current ROG Ally X. Right. So, first of all, for both you guys, how does that price hit you?
Well, I'd be surprised if Asus would allow go cheaper than what their Ally goes for. Okay, I think they're.
And the Ally X right now is $899. Is that right?
$899. Yeah. So it's got to be $899 or above, right? Because there's no way that they're going to lose money on what they're selling now, right? For whatever reasons, it's got to be up there. You're talking about a new processor, right? The Z2, this new design, all this other stuff going on, new OS, all that. I think it's got to be, for the lesser version, $600 maybe. But for the high end, yeah, you're looking at least $999. I would think.
I don't. It doesn't make sense to me. You wanted to know if it makes sense to me, Mike? No way in hell. No way in hell. And
one thing that's on the tip of my tongue here. The next Xbox, we don't know what it's going to be, but a lot of people are speculating there's going to be a whole different series of Xbox. Like Asus could have their own Xbox, right? So the point I'm trying to get at is, could Microsoft and Asus strike some deal, quantity? You buy a whole bunch of these. A whole bunch of these are going to get manufactured. So therefore, the more you manufacture, it drives the price down. Like, I'm not saying, Matt or Larry, that the ROG Xbox Ally X is going to be cheaper than $899. I think $899 is the cheapest it's going to be at. But I think the only way they get it at that price in the US, to me, is if they have some other deal going on. We're just like with AMD, right? They get the processor in the Ally X at a cheaper cost because they must say, hey, we're going to do all this other stuff with you with our Xbox, which they've already confirmed, right? Whatever their model is going to be. So whatever the business terms is for that, I think is how the price comes out at $899. But, the other unpredictable part of that is tariffs, of course. And is Asus willing to drop the price on the existing Ally X to like $799 or $649 and then have the Xbox One launch at $899? I don't know. But go ahead.
I think. I think too. I think one of the things. I think it'd be different if Xbox hadn't like an exclusive thing going on with Asus, but they don't. Right? They said this software is going to be available to, the Ally X and to other platforms. So it's not like this exclusive thing with Asus to be doing this. So it's kind of surprising that the price would be that high, where it's going to be available almost anywhere, right? This Xbox OS handheld, whatever.
Eventually, yeah. I mean, it's coming.
Correct. Yeah,
it's coming to the Xbox Allies first, and then it will come to the ones me and you own, and then they'll talk about the MSI Claw and the Lenovo Legion Goes and all those type of things.
Right. But to me, that's just one of the reasons why I think it is outlandish, even egregious for them to ask for a price this high. Because number one, while it's going to be it's going to be more powerful because I believe the other ROG used the Z1 Extreme, right, for the higher end, right? Isn't that the one you had, Matt, where you had the Z1 Extreme chip?
Yeah.
Okay. So my thing is this. You guys are right. if you can get a just as functional of a capable alternative in the marketplace for a cheaper price, number one, why wouldn't you do that? And if, for people who are interested in mobile gaming, a lot of them have already bought in and invested into something, right? And if that OS is going to be able to come to those other systems, then what really is the benefit? But primarily, here's the reason, fellas. Microsoft isn't keeping any of its games exclusive anyway. They're already going to be able to be played on other Windows platforms. They're already going to be accessible. And so they're already going to be on PC, right? Which means that they can be played on other handheld devices. So my thing is, what is the draw? What's the pool? I heard you talking about the price breaks, right, Mike? Where they can have so many and get price breaks at certain quantities and stuff. But I still don't think that's going to be enough to justify, because here's the reality. If this thing comes out and is $600 and $900 respectively for the lower and then higher ends, what is that going to do as far as price expectation and precedent set it for when the next console comes out? Because the next console is going to be more powerful. And so where's that going to take that pricing? Even though these should be two separate markets, what we're looking at is a Microsoft that's aiming to get in your pocket as much as possible, as often as possible, by any means necessary.
Right. I think firmly they are no longer interested in fighting the good fight against Sony. Right. They are just trying to, like you said, get in your pocket. And that's the whole thing that concerns me with the next Xbox. And you touched upon a little bit of that FOMO, right? It feels like the next generation, no one is going to have truly the definitive Xbox. Like Matt and I can go out today and buy the Xbox Series X and go, we got the best Xbox, right? I feel like the way they have this Xbox OS coming out and everything can be an Xbox, I truly believe it's going to be a PC market that they're going to be in next time around. They're going to ship this OS and have all these third-party manufacturers. And yes, Microsoft will have their own as well, and you can buy that. But when you usually buy something from Microsoft or Xbox, that's the top of the line Xbox console. But then Asus or whoever, Lenovo, could do something, bigger, badder, and better. And I'm just curious. I'm curious how that benefits Microsoft if people go out and buy these things. They're making money off of the Game Pass or the game sales and the Windows or whatever. But I just have a hard time seeing them flourish in that environment. It's a lot of unknowns right now, but I just think Xbox people are diehard gamers who like their consoles, and I just don't know if I see them pivoting to chasing that like we talked about, that graphics rainbow, like we talked a little bit. I got to have the best, and I can easily see someone saying, I thought that this thing I bought, I invested in $900 was going to be the best experience for me, and now you're releasing something 6 to 8 months later that can do something better. I don't know how that's going to sit with the console gamer.
Yeah, you're getting back into PC gaming, right? To where you're chasing after graphics, you're chasing after hardware and that. You go out, you buy the Xbox Series X, PS5. It's like, all right, I got it. I get the best. None can be better than this, right? And you're playing it, and you can play for years. Well, now you're back to, every year something's coming out, something's being released, and you're going to be left behind. You're going to feel abandoned or something.
Larry, is that you think is that where you think Xbox, Microsoft is headed, or what is your whole take on this? What do you? I know you said you had a lot of things you wanted to talk about, as far as Phil and the layoffs and stuff like that. But I'd love to hear, what do you think of the current state of Xbox and where they're headed and all that?
Great question. So the current state of Xbox to me is what their direction was. Started at maybe 6 years ago, 5 years ago. I used to tell Knox Broadcast all the time, look here, man, when the second Microsoft stopped reporting how many users were on Xbox Live, Gold and Silver, started reporting how many monthly average users or MAUs that they had, we should have saw the writing on the wall then, right? They were concerned about how many people were going to keep paying into this monthly revenue thing, which was, the Xbox Live services, which they then converted to Game Pass to do that. I think, though, that what's been happening is that Microsoft doesn't really two things. So I'll say this. Microsoft is in the short term going to go the way of the 3DO, and in the long term will go the way of Sega. So what's going to happen is that, again, when we talked about, I think someone mentioned on here, Microsoft will be successful. I think the shareholders have redefined what success looks like for Xbox. It is no longer in the hands of Phil and those people, meaning that the way that they define success, which was getting games in hands of gamers that they really loved and enjoyed and really appreciated the platform, whereas now the shareholders are primarily dictating what success looks like, which is monthly average revenues. Microsoft has had their best year ever, and they just laid off 9,000 people. So if they've had their best year ever and they've just laid off 9,000 people and they've just closed some studios that have been working on games for years, that means to tell me that they don't see Xbox, or at least as being successful in the way that they define it. So I think that the way that they're going to define it is, let's leverage these relationships we have with all of our partners like Asus. Let's get them to work on the handheld that has been rumored for so long for us to work on. And then let's do that for our next console, which is why they're going to go the way to 3DO next. And I think that, I'm saying it here and now, their next console is their last.
Well, I think that 100% their next console is the last. That they want to get out of the console business as quickly as possible, and they just want to be
for sure
an operating system, which, to get back to, that's their bread and butter, right? Windows. They want to be an operating system, and they want to be a publisher, right? Which is Sega.
Well, and
right?
I think, exactly. And I think I agree with you like 95% of the way, Mike. But I would just say, they are operating system based, but I think they saw the success that Apple and Samsung have with their closed ecosystems, and I believe Microsoft wants an ecosystem that's not closed. I believe they want an ecosystem that is accessible to everyone, because that's more money from everyone all the time. And again, like if you run the rough math, like, I mean, it's many billion. It's $1 billion and some change per year for what they receive just on the revenues of simply Game Pass. If you just use the rough estimate of the lowest tier Game Pass, which is like $10, right? I think at last check they have about 35 million people who use that, right? Now that's, what is that? 300. If that's $10 a month, let's just assume that's $350 million a month. Now run that by 12.
Yeah.
Now you see what Microsoft is shooting for, and that's how success is defined, as opposed to we have Gears, Halo, Mass Effect, 2 Human, BioShock, all in the span of about 3 years. That was success then. And that was success how Phil and Microsoft and Xbox Gaming defined it, but not anymore.
And, I guess we don't know how much they pay out. They have to pay out to get those games on Game Pass. You hear the speculation. For sure. Sometimes it's $50 million a year or more than that. Even if it's $50 million a year, you just did the math. $50 million to drop in the bucket for what they're getting in for 350 times 12.
Nothing, man. What is that? 350 million plus another 75 puts you at up to 410, I guess. Like
425.
425, is that it? But still, like, that's a lot of money, guys. That's a lot of money.
I guess the thing that gives me pause about that, if it's a lot of money, everything is a copycat world out there. Whether everybody's doing AI or everybody's got the tush push and everybody's it's a copycat world. So why isn't Nintendo and PlayStation doing the same thing? They all have different services that you can subscribe to. But how come they don't have their own Game Pass? Is that because Microsoft has just the unlimited pockets that they can boot? They can do that, or Sony doesn't feel it's the best thing to do to cheapen their games and give them away for free, so they don't have it. There was the guy from Arcane Studios the other day, had an article or opinion piece saying that Game Pass is going to ruin the game industry if it already hasn't in some respects.
Right.
But yeah, that is a lot of money, and so I was like, why isn't Sony doing something? I mean, Sony's got their tiers, so maybe they're bringing in just as much, and they don't publicize it or have to talk about it as much because they're not getting their clock cleaned on a regular basis in this whole selling of devices and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's basically what it comes down to what they value, right? Microsoft values that ecosystem that's accessible everywhere. I believe Nintendo values, and I'm not a Nintendo fan, never have been, but I believe Nintendo values their property and protecting their IP, which is why now on the Switch 2 you can buy a game and then you only get the key to download the game on the disc. You don't actually get the actual game on the cartridge.
If it's on the cartridge, the publisher or developer's got to pay extra for it because it costs more to use those high end cards. So, like if you get the Donkey Kong or you get the Cyberpunk, you get the full game. But 99% of them just have the code on there. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then for Sony values that mind share. They value that ability to stay at the front of gamers' minds on in the talk, in the forums, in the Discord channels. They want you to want their games. They want you to wait on the things that they're doing. And so what they value, what each one of those companies values is different, but all three of them are moving us gamers in the gaming industry into into the area and the realm that they want us based on where they value us. But I just think that it's been so long. We spent so much time fighting about which system and which console is best that we didn't look up to see what had happened, that the goalpost had shifted 40 yards down the field. So
gaming has changed so much in the past 5 years that it's incredible. And what it's going to be in the next even the next 1 or 2 years, what it's going to be, it's going to be something totally different than we're used to.
We got a lot
think about the fact.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I know we got other things to get to, but I just want people to just think about it. Maybe put it in the Discord. But think about the fact that now some like companies are going to court and suing, and Ubisoft really feels particularly that you don't own the games that you spend your money for. You're just renting them.
It's the same thing with your music, right? Downloading music, you don't own. You don't really own. You own a license for it. You don't own it.
Yeah. No.
Not like in the past. You just talking about records and vinyl. You own that record. Yeah. You could do whatever you want with that. But now,
I started this podcast off having such happy feelings, and you guys have just brought me down to the lowest depths of depression, and that I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull myself back up. But getting back, because I know Matt wants to talk about his experience with the ROG Ally X and what he thinks Microsoft needs to do to some improvements. But do you? I know this is stealing a little bit from Paris. Gamertag Radio and Kind of Funny. He had a YouTube video. Do you think the ROG Xbox Ally X is a PC or a console? How do you guys? What's your take on that? Does it even matter at this point? It's just it's an Xbox device.
I'm not sure if we're going to know until we realize what that Xbox OS is going to be and how that's going to work.
Well, I've heard you before. You say that you think the Steam Deck is like a console because it's just in that sort of Steam OS wrapper. So if it's equivalent, let's just make that assumption right now. If it's same type of thing, you tend to think that's more of a console than a PC.
Yes.
What do you think, Larry?
I think that if you can't, so for me, the major difference between a console and a PC is that I can do other things with my PC. I can edit my podcast on my PC. I can do other things on my PC. I think that if the console, if the ROG Xbox Ally X allows you to do those things because it has that Windows kernel in it, then we can call that a PC and keep it moving. But if you can't, then your console, buddy.
Yeah, I think you're going to be able to get to the desktop if you want, and to Matt's point, we don't know until we get it in our hands. But the talk they want us to believe right now is a lot of those system things will be turned off, so the benefit of the gaming is increased. But yeah, to your point,
right,
you will be able to go to the Windows desktop, and those things will be activated once you go there, and you could theoretically pull your podcast down and edit it there, and that becomes a PC. Yes. Matt, I want to hear from you. You've been using the ROG Ally X more. You're out at the farm using it, or at home. it's gazebo weather outside, and you and Barb are she might be reading the book, and you might be playing something out there. But let's check in, and what's the latest on the system, and what do you want us to know about it?
So I think this is where, maybe I lead going in with this, where Xbox needs to realize, and the Ally need to realize, and what the Steam Deck excels at is offline mode. Okay, the Steam Deck knows when you don't have a Wi-Fi connection, yet you can still play games easily on your Steam Deck. Okay, as long as it's not a server-based game. Okay, they start up just fine, they work just fine, and it works great. What I've realized with my Ally X, when you offline, it struggles. It doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know when you open up Steam that you're not connected. When you try and open a game that doesn't need internet, it struggles. It's like, well, you're not connected to the internet. We can't sync the save, and then it locks up, and you have to start over and do it again. That's what I've noticed with mine. I think that's where if Xbox needs to figure out that, okay, if you're offline and it's an offline game, it'll still open up and work flawlessly, just like it does on the Steam Deck. That's my biggest thing when I'm out to farm. I noticed that big time because I bought the X. I took it out there. The battery life is awesome on it. Okay, battery life is great. The X. The looks beautiful. It looks great. Frame rates are much better than I had on the Z one. Storage is better. It's more snappier, but it excels at home on the Wi-Fi. When it's connected to the Wi-Fi to the internet, it's lights out, better than the Steam Deck. But the Steam Deck is much better to get up and go and play games. That's what I think, especially offline when there's no internet. I think the Steam Deck is much better. And then when you get home, I bring it home. It syncs automatically with the Ally. I got to go I got to open up Steam, and I got to click on the games and make sure the cloud's up to date and everything like that. It's more of a manual process on the Ally than it is on the Steam Deck. So I think those are the things that Xbox and Ally got to figure out with this new OS that comes out with this Ally Xbox to make it a much more easier gaming facility type of thing.
Larry, do you think there's going to be an emphasis on situations that Matt is talking about with offline? I mean, Matt's situation is unique. He's going to a property, but I'm thinking of people like who generally would maybe take one of these devices on an airplane, right? It's where you're not online. I'm having a hard time thinking like where this fits in Microsoft's priority list. I think an always online world is where they prefer to do their business because they're talking about now of pulling in all your other storefronts into one view. And that's always going to sort of require some sort of online presence to pull those games. But what do you think the whole offline thing falls for them? You think that's anywhere at all in their priority?
I think it's midline priority. I think for them, I think they're trying to consider and extrapolate who their target market is for it and their psychographics, like what their lifestyle is, right? Will they be taking the subway? Will they be taking some type of public transit? In that instance, then they'll absolutely need to have that offline mode, right? If they're pulling it up at the office and, they don't want to connect to office Wi-Fi, maybe they'll consider that. But I think it's midline priority. I think for them, what they're really concerned about is really having enough demand to meet supply. I think they're worried about getting any bugs out of the software experience. And but I don't know how high of a priority that is for them. I would say it's probably mid to bottom of the pack, I guess.
I guess where I'm at with a lot of things Microsoft these days is, I've said it before on the show, they've had opportunities to fix Windows gaming forever, right? They've always known it's a priority, and they've always talked about revamping it. And They talk about these games that were going to come out, this, that, and the other thing, and they get you excited in the moment. And then when it comes to like put up or shut up time, to use your analogy, they move the goalposts 40 yards on you, and they tease that carrot. They tease that carrot again. Now, some things have come out, like Avowed came out, Doom came out, Indiana Jones. Some of the games didn't come out. The Perfect Darks, or games did come out and they closed the studios down. I want to believe that they're going to do right by us with this Xbox OS, but the proof has got to be in the pudding. I can't be plopping down 1050 on woulda, couldas, and shouldas. You know what I mean? I got to have something that is rock solid, because you've had a long fucking time to get Windows right for gaming, and they've always punted on it and have had excuses or this, it was XP, it was, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And what has changed now that gives me the belief that they're going to get this right, especially when the whole pivot for the world is AI. That's the focus. Like, how is this getting the priority inside of Microsoft when the shareholders and the priority for them is more money and getting AI and getting Copilot into everything? I'm just having a really hard time thinking that this is the moment that Xbox gets it right. Now, I hope they do. For all of us, I think we'll benefit if they can knock out Xbox OS. I think it'll be a good thing. But I have a difficult time believing that this is the epiphany. They got it right. They finally got it right. Like, don't know. I don't have confidence in it.
Yeah, Mike, you and I talked the other night we was gaming about Xbox, and I mentioned back when the Xbox One came out, where they were arrogant, and I think they lost base with the gaming community. Whereas when the PS4 came out, they embraced game sharing still, and the price and offline gameplay, and that. I think Xbox still has a little bit of that arrogance and naive, where they just assume that, okay, we're Microsoft, we're Xbox, people are going to come and flock to us.
Yeah, I think that is spot on inside the Xbox house of things. But the big umbrella with Microsoft, I'm not sure how much of a priority it is, and B, can they wrap their head around what the gamer wants? You know what I mean? Like, why weren't they able to figure out this out before? Because it's not a money maker for them. And now people say that Microsoft could just one day wake up and get rid of Xbox, and they wouldn't even see that much of an impact to their overall business, right? So I just want to know, like, how is this their priority, and how are they going to get things right if they're pivoting outside of the console space and into more of a PC space?
I don't think it's here's the thing, Mike. You're right. Xbox accounts for all of 1% of Microsoft's total revenues on an annual basis. So, I don't think it's a priority, and I'll close it with this. Mike, Games for Windows Live has been around forever. Do you know how hard it is to actually get a Microsoft installed game on your PC to launch from Steam? You have to install a different hook. You have to install some other things to make Forza Horizon 5, if you bought it from Xbox, right, and it downloads through the Xbox app, you have to do some type of magic to get it to pull over and launch from a separate launcher. Microsoft could have fixed that years ago. Now, the thing is, they say they're going to fix it now, but they're just going to have to prove it to me, because honestly, I don't see how they benefit from allowing you, like, fixing something like that, right? Fixing a launcher or fixing something offline, because both of those seem to be outside of their strategy of always keeping you online and keeping you inside their ecosystem. So again, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have any hopes for it.
And I don't see the average Xbox gamer turning on that ROG Xbox Ally X and knowing that they have to update all these different things. They're going to have to make it like Steam, where you just have an update button and it updates the whole system.
Yeah, that's the other thing with my X compared to the Steam Deck it's if you're not using it every day, you're sitting and waiting for updates and shit.
It takes you back to the PS3 days where every fucking game needed an update and every game took forever to update, you know?
Yeah.
Well, good conversation on that, guys. We'll see here in a couple months, you know, what Xbox does. I'm looking forward to it. I'm very much on the fence about getting this Asus Xbox thing at that price. You know, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead.
that's why I upgraded from E to Ally X is because of this. All right, hopefully it'll work a little bit better on the X than it does on the Z1E.
Maybe we'll get a price in Gamescom, Larry. That's coming up here in August.
Maybe.
Other than that, Friday afternoon, 5:00, a little comes across the wire, 10:50, and hope the weekend, Labor Day weekend, right? Everybody barbecuing and having, their hot dogs, the last hot dogs and hamburgers of the season, and then go ahead, man.
Who thinks that maybe this was leaked purposely? These price points to gather
sure.
consumer
100%.
input.
Yeah. Market reaction. Oh, listen, man. Look, as a former marketing major, I can 100% guarantee you they did this in order to gauge reception. 100%. They needed to know how much the consumers are going to balk at this thing, and y'all need to balk. Y'all need to hit them on every social you got and tell them, what is this? Xbox don't even have any exclusive I want to play right now. Just keep it moving.
My socials all seem to point to everybody is okay with $900. Like someone built it into their head that this is how much it was going to cost. I haven't seen a lot of people freaking out at the price. I see a lot of people, yep, $900. That's what I expected. That's what I'm buying.
You know why they expected that though, Mike? If you notice, the day that thing was those things were announced, there were tons of articles and tons of gaming media people justifying the price and saying, well, if you think about it, it has the Z2. The Z2 isn't that much more expensive than the Z1. Yeah, the RAM is a little bit more expensive, but it's not full RAM. It's LPDDR5. Or a DDR4, depending on the version that you get. So it's mobile RAM. It's not real RAM. So no, it doesn't justify that big of a cost. No, it doesn't. But you have people writing it, so they kind of planted the seed. So now people are just like, well, I guess it's okay. I read an article that said it was okay, but it's not.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on, Matt. I don't have much to go over as far as what I've been playing. How about you, sir? I know we're getting close to 2 hours. Anything that you've been playing recently that you need to talk about and let people know?
Just Geometry Wars or Survivor has been great on the X. Been great on Steam Deck. Fun games. Division 2, Mike and I we've been dabbling into that. Playing here and there, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. I don't know why we struggle with the end game in this compared to other games, but man, it's just trying to figure out what to do and how to get to better shit compared to like Diablo or Fallout 76. It's a mystery still for some reason.
To be clear, we're not struggling like from a health perspective. We're struggling with how to get this end game gear, because Matt at one point was putting on the green gear and he was very, very spongy and dying a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've changed that much gear or guns since we have restarted playing this again, and I have found very little that's made my character better. So I'm just like, I guess I'm along for the ride tonight, Matt, but I don't feel like I'm getting any sort of incentive to really to push forward. So yeah, the end game feels like a steep learning curve. Like we're missing something, or maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just about incrementally going up over time, or playing on more. Last night we stumbled into a hard. We put the world difficult
heroic.
Yeah, we put it on hard, but then we stumbled into a heroic. I don't know how it changed that on us.
Yeah.
Maybe some of these control points can
service.
Well,
that's quite interesting.
Yeah, the world tier said hard, and then we got to this control point, and it flipped to heroic on us.
And that was quite the experience. It was.
I'll throw out one recommendation for you guys just on Division 2. I'm not much of an in-game player, but from what I recall, if you're not recalibrating and changing those extra bonus stats and all of your gears to adjust to the way that you play, you're wasting your time.
Yeah, I'm starting to dabble in that and learn about that, and man, that's a whole.
It's It's huge and it's real critical because
very deep.
you want the same bonuses. You want the same bonuses on all of your gear, and you have to go in and recalibrate those slots. And it requires like really specific materials to do that, and that's what you grind for, right? That's that in-game grind, is to get those materials and recalibrate. So I'll shut up because I know we're going on too, but that's
what Mike always says. Mike always says, well, it's turned to a numbers game, and then it's no longer fun. You know, at some point when you're doing that.
Yeah. So Agreed. Speaking of fun, I have been playing the first Ascendant because that's all about jigglies and bobbly womblies, and that is a thirsty game. Let me tell you, it reminds me a lot of like Destiny, Warframe, Defiance, but with tits and ass. Mm-hmm. And they don't hide it. They don't hide that 1%. And I imagine there's a lot of thirsty people on there spending all their hard-earned cash on skins. You know, I'm just playing a very vanilla character. I haven't spent any money, not even on a battle pass or anything like that. But it's to me, it is a sort of ASMR experience. And what I mean by that is when you're playing that on the PlayStation with the DualSense, the implementation of that, the tactile feel, it's just great. And so I am playing that, 90% for that. Otherwise, it's like, here, go do this mission, and you go to this, point A, and you kill a bunch of people. Okay, great. Now go talk to this person and repeat what you just did, either at the same one you just did, or you can go to the one next to it and do it over there. So there's not a lot of meat on the bones as far as the mission. Some of the bigger ones, you can do public matches. But that immediately reminded me of Warframe because I partner with someone who I don't know. They're overpowered. They're running like super far ahead because they know the game in and out. I don't. And all of a sudden I'm running to keep up with them and the game pulls me forward and I get there and it says mission complete. It's like I didn't fucking shoot my gun once.
That's how I feel like I get pulled along in Diablo, man. Same thing. Diablo 4. Def Prime used to do that to us. He invited all of us in a room. He would level up like crazy beforehand. And I'm telling you, we're in there 50. He's way ahead of us. We're in there 50 seconds, leveled up like 6 times. Stage is done. You didn't even see the boss. You don't even know what the boss looks like.
Yeah, so never saw the boss, but I got all the goodies.
Mike and I performed that service with Denny Luce one time. And Diablo 4 got him like up to super level, and man, that was a lot. That was a fun night.
We haven't heard from him since.
Yeah,
no, we haven't. He's off on his own now.
Yeah,
gave him his wings, and he flew his way.
Haven't heard from him in a long time. Hopefully, Denny, if he's listening, he's doing okay. And the only other thing I've been playing this week, I don't know why I had the urge. I think after I finished Dragon Age, finally was Killzone Shadowfall. I never played the campaign on that, so I am slowly working my way through that, and that's just a lot of fun. Just good old reminds me like a COD campaign, but just on PlayStation and more cyber warfare, I guess. But Larry, anything that you've been playing that we haven't discussed that you want to let people know about?
No, man, I'm good. That's all I've been playing, man.
All right, well, let's wrap it up. The last news story, just real quick. I think, Larry, correct me if I'm wrong. You're a Cyberpunk guy, aren't you?
Yeah.
So they continue to put updates out. Yep. Update 2.3 came out today. For us console people, they added VRR, variable refresh rate support. So I imagine, Larry, next week we can see some sort of video from Digital Foundry going over what they think of the whole VRR update. I know they've been eagerly anticipating that, so we'll have to keep our eyes out for that. Other new features, Matt, I think this will interest you. They have a new AutoDrive feature. So any owned vehicle can now taxi you to a destination of your choice, or it
Uber.
It can take you on a relaxed tour of Night City.
I like that too.
I know Matt's like one of those guys who take us to the amusement park. He likes the good old train ride, right? You need to get out. You need to get out of the sun. You need to rest your feet. One time I was at Dollywood last August. We took the train ride. I think I told you about how bad that went. But Matt is a guy that loves to get on the train, I bet. So now,
I one time made a deal with the guy at King's Eye. I was like, dude, I'm just going to sit here in the back. I just want to ride the train for as many times as I want. I don't have to get off, get back on. He's like, I got you, man. You're fine. Just sit back here and you'll be okay.
Nice.
Yep.
So now you can take a relaxed tour of Night City. You got some eye fatigue. You need to take a break. You lost a mission and you're getting upset. Decompress and take that ride across Night City.
I might try that out.
4 new vehicles, including several side jobs to acquire them. And if you want to go into photo mat, they've added 27 new NPCs to photo mode that can now be spawned in, and there's new outfits and poses as well. So
nice.
And then there's the usual bug fixes.
They just do it well, man. Like they just try to give the gamers everything they can. I know the game had its problems and struggles when it released, but
yeah, it did.
Man, they try their best to do what they can. So I'm excited for this, and I'm really interested to see how that's going to break out on the Switch 2. See what that platform is going to be capable of.
I have it on the Switch too. It's a very, as the Digital Foundry guys say, bespoke experience on the. They did that port themselves. They're doing some trickery there, some magic to get that work pretty competently on the Switch too. Larry, where does your excitement for The Witcher 4 and CD Projekt Red? What do you think they're cooking up for us? I know we've seen those. Was that Unreal 5 or 6 that they were showing us? That
I think it was 5.3.
5.3.
5.3.
And that's debate. Some of that's. They came out after the fact and said that's not in game. That was just a demo, a slice.
Yes,
but you got to think some of that is going to be retained. It looked too good just to do it for a demo. They'll integrate some of that in to some extent. But where's your excitement level for The Witcher 4?
So it's slightly mixed, but I am cautiously optimistic, just because Cyberpunk's launch was so debilitating to the industry, right? Like it really hurt CDP, but they came back from that, right? And so lately I have been kind of really disappointed for things that I had high expectations for. So I'm just trying to stay reserved, but I really am anticipating to see what it is. I've never read the books or anything, but I'm really anxious to see what they're going to do with Ciri and how they're going to use her, because obviously she was the next logical pick. So I'm interested to see where that story can go without being in the confines of the books before even. So that's going to be very, very interesting. And seeing what they can do now with Unreal, instead of having to worry about building their own engine and building the game. Now they can just rely on a very well developed engine and kind of have Epic work do the upgrades to the engine that they need while they build out the game. So I'm really interested in that. So fair to middling, if you want me to sum it up.
Okay. I'm really excited. It's a toss-up, I guess, what you're more excited for, that or GTA 6. I feel like The Witcher 4 is maybe still years away, but GTA 6 is next year. What do they say, next May? Is that right?
Next May.
So you think it'll get delayed till next September?
Yeah.
Where's your excitement level for GTA 6?
I'm not a GTA fan at all, in the slightest. So it doesn't move my needle at all.
So what is moving your needle? Before we go, leave us with one thing you got your eye on. Whether it doesn't have to be gaming. It can be like a movie or TV show. What is something that's got you excited, get you out of bed in the morning besides your family and work? What are you anticipating?
Daredevil Reborn season 2. I'm a huge Daredevil fan. Love the Netflix series, and what they did on Disney Plus was fantastic. Was good. It started off a little rough, but when it ended up was with the people who are gonna all be writing the second season. They're gonna bringing back some Defenders characters. That's what I'm looking for again.
All right.
Daredevil Reborn season 2. That's my thing.
Okay. Well, let's wrap it up with that. Close to 2 hours here. Almost Matt's bedtime. Appreciate you coming on, Larry. Been too long.
For sure.
Yeah, thanks, Larry.
We'll have to.
Good talking to you.
I'm sorry I kept y'all. Sorry I kept y'all here, man. But I love talking to you fellas. So
We'll have to we'll have to do it again soon, and I'll be on your podcast, Geeks Gone Raw, in August 4th. So I'm looking forward to that. And so you guys are now. It sounds like you're aiming for a weekly show, but anyways, you want to listen to Larry and Chase? You can go listen to them over Geeks Gone Raw. Find it in your feeds and all that good stuff.
Right? Yep, that's it. And I believe I am at Blue Man Rule on X and at Blue Man Rule on Blue Sky. I think that's really about it. Y'all can find me around though. Just jump into the Discord. I'll let you know how to get a hold of me if you're interested. But thanks for having me on, fellas. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Larry.
Yeah,
Matt. Anything from you?
It's great.
Where can they find you on X Hamster?
Cat Mike Matt M.
I'm not sure what category that's under.
The other.
I want to kiss you. I couldn't care less about the team struggling.